Hey everyone, welcome back. Old Bubs here. Today I have a very interesting scale swap for you. These scales are from AWT, Applied Weapons Technology. These are aluminum scales for a PM2. This is the Tequila Sunrise color pattern with the topographic map on here. These have a little bit of milling on them, a little texture, which is super nice. And one of the biggest reasons that I'm super excited to try these out is that these scales are a partial liner delete. So they're actually, while they're heavier than the G10, since they delete the non-compression lock side liner, they actually reduce the weight of the PM2, which this one is starting at 3.81 ounces, which all things considered is not a bad weight for a knife with the cutting power of a PM2. So I also have a blue titanium hardware set that's going to come in here that should be just a little bit lighter also than the steel hardware in here. So we're going to see just how much weight we shave off and just how much sauce we're bringing to the table. Alright, if you've never done a PM2 scale swap before, I'll give you a quick rundown of a few of the items that you're going to need. You'll need 3 Torx bit sizes. You'll need a T10, a T8, and a T6. And one of the things that I always recommend is to look really closely at your Torx bits. I buy them in bulk in sets of 10 like this, and switch them out when they start to look a little bit like they are rounding off or twisting a little bit, because the last thing you want is to break off a Torx bit in one of these or strip out a screw. It is not a good time for anybody. And then another little thing that we may or may not need to use is a pair of pliers. And a little hack that I have seen is to put a little bit of electrical tape around here just to soften them up so that you're not scratching anything on the inside. It works quite well for my purposes. And then if you can get the thinnest little flathead screwdriver bit that the world has ever seen, that can be really beneficial for lifting off the lanyard hole. Now there is Spyderco lanyard hole presses that exist, but I have tried and they are continually on back order. So as soon as I can get one of those, I will have it in my kit. We have just a little bit of lubricant to put back on the washers, a little bit of Loctite. Off screen here we have some isopropyl alcohol, we have some cloths to clean stuff with, and then we have a little sunshine cloth just to take the grime off of our washers. I am going to fast forward through some of these things for you to keep the video as brief as possible, but I am going to pause it and take you through the parts that are specific to the liner delete. Another quick tool showcase, just because this can come up sometimes. If you have something like this barrel spacer that is spinning the entire thing when you're trying to loosen it, one option would be to try to crank down the other screw as tight as possible. But I find this little tool from Titanium that holds a Torx bit in there, and then you can just set it down on your mat and twist. Works exceptionally well at getting that thing popped out of there. All right, now that we've got everything cleaned and ready to put back together, I'll show you what we got here. So this is the liner side that we're going to delete this whole thing. We don't actually need it at all. What they've done is they've milled spots for these pieces to go into so that this is just going to ride right on there. So that we just get to set to the side. In this, we have our compression lock side that's just going to fit right down into there. That is a pretty good fit. It's not necessarily as snappy as I was expecting it to be. Sometimes when you're doing scale swaps, these are actually like too snug, and you have to take some of the liner off. That's not the case here. Looks like we're sitting right down in there. It's also important to take a look. It looks like that the D shape of the pivot goes in here. The other thing that I've done is I've gone through and I've stacked up my new hardware around here. And now that we're working with titanium hardware, we're going to want to be extra careful that we play nice with it, because titanium is, as everyone knows, not nearly as resilient to monkeying around as steel is. And it's no great triumph of human might to strip out a steel screw of a Torx bit. But a good thing to just keep in mind is to go slow, take deep breaths, don't get frustrated, don't start forcing stuff, and everything will be all right. So now that we've got this thing all wrapped up, man, those blue accents really bring it together. I'm glad we went with that blue hardware pack. You do have to be just a little bit more careful on your screws, and it actually changed the pivots to T8s instead of T10s. So now you're down to just 2 Torx bits when you're doing these. And everything but the pocket clip is T8. So let's see what we ended up weighing after. 3.32, so that's a ½ ounce difference by my math, which is hopefully the right math. Yeah, all in all, I'm impressed with how these scales went on. This is for a friend, so hopefully he will enjoy this scale swap greatly. Thank you all for watching. Let love and light fill your life. I'll see you on the next one.